Immersive Disney animation is the groundbreaking experience of a lifetime, featuring the animated sights and sounds of Disney's most iconic films, from The Lion King to Frozen to Encanto and more. Step into the magic of Disney's greatest characters. Immersive Disney animation is now open at Lighthouse Art Space Las Vegas at the Shops at Crystals. Tickets at DisneyImmersive.com. Brought to you by the producers of Immersive Van Gogh.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program's participants and do not necessarily reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers.
It's time for the most interactive radio program in Las Vegas today. It's time for Pushing the Limits with Brian Shapiro. Brian will talk sports, politics, entertainment, and anything that matters to you. Feel free to call Brian at 702-221-7283.
You want answers? I want the truth!
Now, Pushing the Limits, here's Brian Shapiro.
Right out of bushy-tailed on a Thursday, it is Pushing the Limits Las Vegas, coming to you live from the Valley on KSHP, the airwaves here on West Flamingo / Jones, as well as the World Wide Web streaming.
Whoa. Flamingo?
It's not Flamingo. It's
Sahara
Numchuck.
and Jones.
I'm mixing up my spots. You know what's on
You're
the
thinking Jackson's,
mind,
baby. You're thinking
I'm thinking
Jackson's.
Jackson's Bar and Grill, one of the premier gaming bars in all of Las Vegas. But yes, I did get the directionals kind of quirky there. It is a Thursday, folks. Brian Shapiro a little bit under the weather, Numchuck, but never fear. Chris Winn is here, bringing a different perspective here as well too. The studio lines will be wide open today, folks, because we want your input. We want your takes. We want you to tell us what's on your mind at 702-221-7283. I pointed out we are streaming all over the World Wide Web as well, too. The YouTube page at Pushing the Limits Las Vegas, as well as on X/Twitter. Normally, we're on the TikTok feed as well, too, with Brian Shapiro, but he's off today. But we'll be highly engaged when it comes to the YouTube feed, my friends, because I'm all over it on that. We live in extraordinary times, folks, without question. And especially when you talk about the body politic that is the United States of America right now. It's unbelievable. It really is. It's fascinating, sometimes not in a good way, when you think about one of the political parties in our country right now. Just take a minute to kind of reflect on what exactly it is that we are witnessing from the standpoint of the GOP. Yes, I understand that a lot of you who are Republicans out there, and especially those who are MAGA, that listen to the show or watch the show on social media and on YouTube and on the web, think of it as, it's Brian Shapiro. He's a left-winger. He says that he's in the middle, but he's left on social issues, but he really just loves bashing Republicans. You got to sit back and ask the question, why? You got to sit back and ask the question, exactly why is this going down this way? And when I say that it is a extraordinary time right now, keep in mind, we are just about 4 or 5 months away from the election cycle really kicking in 2024. And right now, the leading candidate on the Republican side, and the leading candidate by a large margin, is facing all kinds of legal jeopardy in 4 separate cases. He is a former president of the United States, and Donald Trump, who was impeached twice, who was a one-term president, and in the history of particularly modern American politics, there's never been a situation in which a president who served one term didn't even get reelected for a second term, which has kind of been the norm in the last 50-plus years. Yes, there's the outliers. There's, George Bush Sr., there's obviously Jimmy Carter. And Gerald Ford, who wasn't even elected president, but ended up serving president for 2 years, who have one term and are bounced out. And what's the common thread among those individuals? Those individuals were forgotten. They went out the door. They were done. Not the situation here. It's a remarkable kind of situation, to be honest with you, if you look at it from that aspect. This is a guy in former President Donald J. Trump who, as I just pointed out, was impeached twice, lost to a not-so-great candidate in Joe Biden in 2020. Then, in the ensuing 2.5, almost 3 years afterwards, has been beyond defiant as far as that election is concerned, has taken the position of he got screwed, the election was rigged, and that he actually won. And to this day, that's the position that he takes. To this day. And it's not like he's just taking that position and kind of gone by the wayside and isn't really in politics anymore. He's now running again. So he's the first president, also former president, also here in 2023, going into 24, who lost his re-election bid, was a one-term president, and now is running again to be president. And it's not like he is Carter or Ford or Bush in that he had, for all intents and purposes, a clean slate or a clean record. This is a guy who's been indicted 4 times. And faced, by the way, also faced civil liability as well, too, in the case up in New York. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I don't think that we, as Americans, really talk about this at all. We don't even notice it. It's almost like it's almost like it's on the back burner. Like it's something that we kind of just say, oh, we chalk it up to it's the 2020s. That's how we are in America now with our politics. It's the 2020s. Crazy new things can happen. Unreal things can happen. We got a guy elected president in 2016 who was a businessman, wasn't even a politician. We got a guy elected in 2016 who wasn't even a Republican his entire life. But we're going to suspend disbelief, and we're going to say, you know what? Yeah, Donald Trump. Yeah, 2015, he's a Republican now. And a huge part of our Republican and MAGA electorate, I call it MAGA now because that's what it is, believe that Donald Trump is kind of like the gold standard for Republicans. He's the guy that we want. He's the guy they want. He's the guy that you want, Republicans. This isn't just some crazy lefty Winn right here chiming in. This is the reality. You want him to be your president. You want him to be our president. And it's I mean, I find words very difficult to kind of even wrap this whole thing around in my head. It's just unbelievable to me. 702-221-7283 is the phone number. I'm just kind of chiming and opining on the body politic that is America right now, and kind of just reflecting on it because it's just mind blowing to me. And look, I make appearances on Brian's show on Mondays, and occasionally other days as well too. And so it's kind of like a one day of the week where I'm co-hosting with Brian, and I get to chime in and fire off my left wing. I'm a left wing Democrat. And I am not afraid whatsoever, I'm sure you can all imagine, to chime in on Donald Trump, because I do think that he was absolutely horrendous for all things politics when it comes to the United States of America. Especially when it comes to the perception of our country. And I think that he did stay in the Oval Office. I think he was bad for the presidency of the United States. Now, when I say that, am I saying that in a way? Do I say that it was all just horrible when Donald Trump was president? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I pointed out on this show many times. I pointed it out on other shows that I've been on talking about this. And there were some things that were positive that came out of the Trump administration. And I would argue that 99% of those were done by Republicans in the name of Donald Trump. Now, there's a lot of things done also by Republicans that I would disagree with, and that would make sense, right, given that I'm a Democrat. But that being said, I mean, hey, I'm not going to sit back here and be disingenuous and say that it was all just flat out awful under the Trump administration. It just wasn't. And it kind of leads to the reality that, look, presidents have a lot of power. They do. But they also don't have some power, right? They're not the end-all, be-all. They don't control everything. The phone lines are 702-221-7283. Let's jump out to the phone lines. Edward joins us now here on Pushing the Limits. Edward, how are you doing on this Thursday, sir?
You're looking good by yourself today, Chris.
I appreciate that. Man. Yeah. Well, hey, it's not every day that I'm not belly up with B-Shap here in studio and Numchuck. So we'll switch it up a little bit.
Man, I gotta say, dude, that hey, if anyone you debate with today you don't agree with, please don't let the vein in your forehead explode or pop out, please.
Hey, man, please. I mean, if you listen to the show with me on it, you're probably well aware that I am somebody that can get emotional, right? Can get fired up a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
And there'll be physical reactions to that, of course, and people that are watching on the YouTube feed and beyond will be able to notice that. But no question about it. Hey, this is the deal, Edward. This is the deal.
Yeah.
All right.
What's up?
I mean, what do you think when you kind of sit back and reflect and look at what it is we are about to embark on in the next 12 to 15 months? Because to me, it is just absolutely unreal to think that we in the United States of America right now are in this situation. I say we, I mean, all of us are. Look, I get it. It's the Republican Party, and they're going to do what they're going to do. But, I mean, what are you thinking when you kind of just really kind of take a step back and look at what's going on?
Okay, first off, I just want to say, like, when people call in, I think sometimes I feel as though Brian puts people out there like it's a Brian versus us mentality. And I don't believe that. It almost seems like it's a mental battle, just like who's smarter or who's right and who's wrong. And in some of these topics, there is no right and no wrong. It's just an opinionated, we're just opinionated people, and that's all.
I would agree with that in a sense, but I'll also kind of, I would counter that by saying this.
Yeah.
And Brian says this all the time, and he's right. When it comes to, we're entitled to our own opinions, but we're not entitled to our own facts. There's a lot of situations when you get into debates with people, right, or discussions, particularly on the air, in radio and television, in which sometimes it's in bad faith or it's not necessarily factually accurate what individuals are saying, and we need to point that out. I mean,
you can't control what people think, though. It's not your job, you know?
Well, no, it's not. It's not about you having thoughts or having opinion. So again, it's a difference between opinion and then something that's actually factually accurate, right? Something that is actually true, right? So opinions, yes, everyone's got opinions. You know the saying. Opinions are like a-holes. Everyone's got one.
Yeah,
that's kind of the deal, right? When it comes to opinions, and that's fine. If you have an opinion on something, on a viewpoint or a theme or something like that, that's fine. When you're talking about things like COVID-19, right? When you're talking about things like an election that was 3 years ago, that we all have a general consensus and knowledge of what the reality was, and then people want to try to take bites at that or take shots at it and and try to act like they have facts that are different, it becomes an issue. And that's when
it's almost
Chris,
like beating
that's
a dead horse.
Hey, Edward, that's when and especially and Brian too. That's where Brian gets all red faced, right, and starts getting fired up. On the air is when people try to inject that stuff into the conversation.
Yeah, it's like beating a dead horse.
Oh yeah, well, beating a dead horse is a thing too, and that's you know and that happens a lot also. But
of course,
I'm just saying. I want to make. I just want to make. I want to be very clear. My Barack Obama imitation. That there is a clear distinction between what is opinion and what is fact.
Sure. And going back to what you were saying, what's going to happen in the next 12 to 15 months, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't predict what's going to happen tomorrow. All I know is about today.
Yeah, but it is. But when you take a look at particularly the Republican side of things, right, and what's happening with the Republicans, it's much more uncertain, I guess is the word I'll use, right? Uncertain when it comes to the Republicans than it is the Democrats. Look, we get it, right? Joe Biden's old, okay? He could absolutely. I mean, I'm not trying to be Grim Reaper here, but he could. Joe Biden could pass away tomorrow, right? And he's 80 years old.
Any of us could technically. Any of us could.
Yes, and by the way, Donald Trump could pass away also. The guy's 76. He's not some spring chicken. The point being though is that, but if you look at it, if you look at it just logically, right, from a standpoint of what's more normal, I guess more normal is the Democrats because they have the actual president who's there and who's probably going to run again, and right now has the support of Democrats like myself and others. If it were to, if it's a matchup right now, as of right now, if it's Thursday, right? September 7th, 2023. I'm telling you right now. Yes, us Democrats, Edward. I don't know if you're independent or you're a Republican or a Democrat. I don't know.
I bleed red.
So you're on the right. So according to, I can speak for most of us Democrats and even independents that vote Democrat.
Sure.
If the election was right now and today, I mean, we would vote for Joe Biden over Donald Trump, right? Because Donald Trump would be the opponent. Because Donald Trump would win as of today, Donald Trump is clearly ahead. So
but I think,
it is a binary situation. So people want to circumvent it, and they want to kind of play both sides of the fence and say, well, I've never been a fan of Joe Biden, and I'm not, but I've never been a fan of Joe Biden, but Donald Trump, I can't stand him either. It's like, okay, I mean, you got to pick a side. You know what I mean? You have to pick somebody.
But maybe it starts like that, Chris, because I know I've listened to you all a few times, and you guys have talked about you don't like segregation, we don't believe blacks versus whites, or blah, blah, blah. But maybe even just saying like Democrats versus Republicans, that's still another separating us from each other, where it's kind of ludicrous after a while. It's like, instead of saying Democrats, Republicans, why don't we all just make one giant group?
Yeah, well, it's not ludicrous. Look, it's segregation. You use the word segregation. It's not necessarily
separating.
Look, here's the deal. In America, right, Edward, people have different viewpoints, different ideologies. Republicans are different from Democrats. They just are. We feel Democrats feel differently than Republicans on a ton of issues, and that's never going away. It's never going away. So it's we're
so connected on so many levels.
No, but the comment you made, Edward, is kind of pie in the sky, right? It's not really a thing that's going to happen. We're always going to have. I'm not saying we're going to be as divisive as we have been perceived in the last 5, 6, 7 years in our country, which is very, very divisive, right? It's just a different animal right now in America.
Split.
But it's not going to be. There's going to be no kumbaya. I'm sorry, Edward. It's just not.
Yeah,
there's not going to be a situation where Republicans and Democrats are going to be in the same camp for the most part at all. That's not going to be the situation. We're constantly going to be at each other's throats. The problem for you guys, I say you guys because you're Republican, right? The problem for Republicans,
what do you mean, you guys?
Yeah, I know, right? The problem for Republicans is that you need to get more of the independent vote, right? You need to have more independents in your camp than Democrats do. That was the issue. That was one of the issues back in 2020 with Joe Biden winning, and quite frankly, that's been the issue in all the midterms too since 2018. That you have had is that you need to get more independents in your camp, and it's made it very difficult in my opinion. So this is my opinion now. It makes it very difficult when you have Donald Trump at the helm of your party to do that.
What I'm worried about, Chris, is not a bunch of politicians that kiss babies and shake hands and could care less about the working class man. I know I have a feeling a majority of them do not care, but what I care about is us being able to take care of ourselves, our families, our homes, being able to survive because the economy is getting a little bit rough right now, and we're having to make sacrifices. You can just go to the local store and look at meat prices or even gas, how it's fluctuated from the last 3 years.
Solid points, Edward. Solid points. Hey, we got to jump around a little bit. Edward, we appreciate the phone call, and we'll have a great weekend, okay? We'll talk to you again soon.
Likewise, Chris. Thanks for talking to me, by the way. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Edward. Yeah, so no doubt. Look, I'll respond to that, right? We all live in the same country. So a lot of times when we talk about things, and by the way, Democrats do this too, Republicans and Democrats. A lot of times we talk about things like, say, the economy, and we act like we're the only ones affected by it. Oh, we Republicans or we Democrats are the only ones affected by it. So when Edward says, the economy is really rough right now, or we're dealing with some rough things when it comes to our economy, and it comes off a lot of times as if, there's only some of us are really feeling it. And look, that's kind of true because, look, there's a lot of people in this country that are well off, right? There's a lot of people that are loaded. There's a lot of people that are, the top 10% of the country that can go about. Even people that aren't, even people like me, right? Guy that works in the service industry most of my life. I've been able to make a decent living. I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm well off enough where it doesn't necessarily look. I understand when I was there yesterday when I took my Chevy Trailblazer to the gas station. Yes, as Numchuck and I are looking at it right now through the window, and I pulled up to the gas pump. And I'm a Democrat, folks. I'm a left-winger. I'm somebody that voted for Joe Biden. And I do look at the gas prices and I say, $4.19 a gallon? I thought this was supposed to be going down. What's the deal here, folks? The difference, though, is that I see it. I get a little bit of irked, but it doesn't necessarily change my everyday aspect of life, right? Yes, when I go to the store and I see that prices are higher for food, does it irritate me? Absolutely, it irritates me. But a big difference also is that I don't go into these situations, whether it's at the grocery store or at the gas station or anywhere else where prices are elevated, and say to myself, oh, it's because of Joe Biden and these lefties that have put us in this situation. Them and only them. If Joe Biden wasn't president, we would be in a much better, gas prices would be $2 a gallon, right? Eggs would be $2.19 for a dozen instead of $4.19 for a dozen. The reason I don't do that is because I am logical. I approach things with reason. I'm not just hyperbolic and sit there and just steam. And I get into discussions, and we hear people on these airwaves here at PTL Vegas and beyond, on all the right-wing radio shows. And Brian Shapiro's pointed out on this show, when he talked about the segment regarding why is there more right-wing radio in America than there is left-wing radio, I think a big reason of it is because of the grievances, right? There's more. There just is. There's more when it comes to the right wing in America. People out there that want to bitch and moan and complain about things, especially things that aren't necessarily a thing. And we're going to get into that in the second segment here, because I'm going to talk about a Republican candidate as well. I'm going to talk also about a clip that I saw on social media a couple of days ago that brings up a topic and that leads to a reaction to a reaction. And I'll get into that. But circling back, look, the Democratic Party is not the party of grievances, right? When Democrats have been complaining about Donald Trump for the last 7 years, which we have, I'll admit that, we have. We complain about Donald Trump because of things that he says. Because when he says things that are sexist, racist, xenophobic, when he's trashing immigrants, when he's firing away at all things that he disagrees with or that he's upset about, or, when he's put in a position where basically for the last 7 years, the 4 years that he was president and the 3 years, almost 3 years afterwards that he has not been president, but he's still been in the public eye, he is essentially giving the middle finger to all of us on the left and Democrats, saying, y'all, screw all you guys. You didn't vote for me. You don't matter to me. And I'm going to continue to blast you left and right in every minute of every waking moment that I have and at every opportunity that I have. I'm going to blast you. That's just the way that he's gone about things. And it keeps circling back around, because whether it's on this show or any other show, a lot of MAGA and right-wingers will come on and say, why do you want to talk about Donald Trump so much? Why do you want to talk about situation? Why do you want to harp on him? He hasn't been president for 3 years. And the reason we do it is because right now there's a certain guy that's leading the Republican primary and is most likely, as of right now, to be the Republican nominee for president. And that's why we do it. So, it's again, I have to reiterate, it is unbelievable times we are living in from a politics perspective. And from a social issues perspective as well, too, because people, obviously because we live in 2023 and we have so much access with respect to media and social media, and everybody's got a voice. It has become super hyper intense when it comes to people's comments and views getting out there in the United States of America. It's Pushing the Limits, coming your way live on a Thursday. Chris Winn in for Brian Shapiro. More of your phone calls on the other side of the break. 702-221-7283 is the phone number. When we come back, Brian had Vivek Ramaswamy on the show last week. I hadn't really jumped on social media and had my reaction to it. I wanted to make some comments regarding Vivek and his candidacy and kind of where he stands and what he represents when Pushing the Limits continues on the other side of the break. Live on KSHP AM 1400, 107.1 FM, and on the YouTube page at PTL Vegas on the World Wide Web. Much more on the way after this. Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits here. I want to tell you guys about my good friends at the Postal Annex. They have a notary signing agent on site daily, no appointment needed, and they offer a full scale of printing services from shipping labels to documents, business cards, banners, photos, and business signage. They're your passport service headquarters. They offer passport photos, and they can renew your adult passports. If you're traveling in a hurry, they can get those passports to you within 7 days or less. Mailbox rentals with a physical street address, and they also receive your packages from Amazon, UPS, FedEx, USPS, and more. Here's the best part. If you're a Pushing the Limits listener, they have an introductory rate of only $39 for a 3-month service. You can't beat it. Give them a call, 702-873-8005. Check them out at 6130 West Flamingo Road. It's the Postal Annex. Tell them I sent you.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event that requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Winn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well, so I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Winn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Sapphire Pool and Day Club, the world's only topless gentlemen's day club, introduces its 2023 pool season lineup with a bevy of beauties and social media celebrities throughout the summer who will all host alongside hundreds of Sapphire's topless poolside entertainers. Enjoy brunch in the sun with items like frittata-style omelets, stripping chicken, and French kiss toast before washing it down with signature summertime cocktails. 10 lines, beware. Go Bear! Ladies are welcome to go topless within the day club for the ultimate party. Guests can purchase portable daybed packages, cabana packages, lounge chairs, and more. The best part though? Pushing the Limits will be broadcasting shows every other Friday throughout the pool season with a ton of surprise celebrity guests. Wow! Reserve your spot now. For more info, visit SapphirePoolLV.com or call 702-869-0003. That's 702-869-0003. See you at Sapphire.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams and treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
The best choice for convenience, comfort, and value, My Place hotels are ideal for both short-term and long-term travelers. The rooms at My Place features pillow-top mattresses, microfiber bedding, and a variety of soft and firm pillows. All extended stay rooms offer their own kitchen, which includes a full-size refrigerator and a cooktop. On-site laundry facilities are also available for extended stays at pet-friendly My Place hotels. Book your stays online at myplacehotels.com. My Place Hotels, St. George and West Jordan, Utah. Make My Place your place.
Thursday edition of Pushing Limits coming right live. KSHP AM 1400, 107.1 FM. Chris Winn in for Brian Shapiro. Brian a little bit under the weather today and tomorrow. I'll be in. Nicole Mitchell going to join me tomorrow on the show. We're going to batter around some topics left and right with her. And in 1 o'clock hour today, NBA veteran Paul McKeskey is going to join us. Big Mo, long-time career with the Golden State Warriors, Detroit Pistons, and most prominently with the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll talk some Team USA basketball and also some, USA basketball as a whole and the perception of the program around the world and where we stand when it comes to all things hoops with Big Mo in the 1 o'clock hour. Been talking a little bit politics, obviously, as we get set to ramp up. We're just a matter of a few months away, folks, from really getting into the election cycle. That is 2024 and the election. It seems like just yesterday, right? Joe Biden was elected president in 2020, and we've been getting your thoughts as well, too. 702-221-7283
is the phone number. Make sure you stop by our favorite and one of the premier gaming bars in Las Vegas. That is Jackson's Bar and Grill on the corner of Jones and Flamingo. When you want to talk about a tremendous menu, all kinds of gaming specials, it doesn't matter. If you're just a Keno player, if you're a video poker player, if you like your video slots, Jackson's Bar and Grill is outstanding. Myself and Brian Shapiro are very frequently there making donations or trying to collect from the folks there at Jackson's. Jackson's Bar and Grill on the corner of Jones and Flamingo, one of the premier gaming bars in Las Vegas. Again, the phone number is 702-221-7283. Having discussions. What is the state right now of the body politic that is the United States of America? I'm kind of doing an overview, kind of doing an overall reflection, right? Haven't gotten into too much detail yet. I'm going to talk about one of the candidates coming up soon because he's someone who has absolutely landed on, has absolutely just fired on to the landscape that is the primary in the Republican Party. But let's jump to the phone lines. JD joins us now on the phone line. JD, we appreciate your call. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Good to hear you on the phone with going solo for a change.
Thank you very much, JD. What are your thoughts? Because I know, look, we have a history, JD. No question about it, about going back and forth. But kind of your viewpoints when it comes to
respectfully.
Republicans. Yes.
Your opening statement about gas prices at $4.19 and eggs, etc.
Yep.
You're a single guy. If you were a married man with 2 children, about a year and a half ago here in Las Vegas, I had to pay $5.77 a gallon at one point. That was the highest the gas ever got. $5 for a dozen of eggs, $10 for a pound of bacon. At Walmart, $14 for a T-bone steak a pound and $15 a pound for a ribeye steak. I think you would be a lot less insecure at that time if you were married with 2 children.
Well, look, your point is well taken, JD. But my point that I was making is that there's a lot of Americans out there on your side of the aisle, right? Particularly the MAGA people, right, that are in the Donald Trump camp and in the camp of Joe Biden is like the worst person in the history of American politics, who want to tie this directly to Joe Biden. And it's not necessarily it'd be one thing if they were able to actually recite or bring up actual policy in which Joe Biden and the Biden administration have put forth that would directly cause them to be paying more at the pump or paying more at the grocery store. No, JD, let me finish first. Let me finish first, and then you can respond. It'd be one thing if they could point that out. But, JD, the fact of the matter is this. There's just too many people out there that are not educated and that are not aware whatsoever of any direct policies whatsoever that have been put forth by the Biden administration that have led to inflation, that have led to gas prices going up, that have led to the economy being such in horrible shape because the country is a hellhole right now, which is the perception of a lot of Republicans, right? Is that the country is going down the tubes. I talk to them every day, JD, not just you. I talk to Republicans every day that try to convince me that the country is absolutely going down the tubes. And that's kind of what I was addressing when I was trying to make a point that, yes, and I'm not disparaging your account of things when you talk about having to pay $5 and that is something that takes a chunk out of. Yes, there are families that absolutely struggle in America. I know this. But I was just pointing out the fact that there is a lot of Americans that don't. It's not a rip in their backside when they go to the pump or they go to the grocery store every day. It just isn't, JD.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, just for example, with the gas when it was $5.77.
Right.
If you needed 20 gallons of gas a week to do your things and go to work, gas, when Trump left office, was $2.38 a gallon. That equates to $60 more a fill-up 4 times a month. That's $240 a month more just for gas, which probably feeds a family of 4 for 2 weeks. On Biden's first day in office, he put in an executive order to cut back on the oil leases and fracking and production of oil with his first day executive order. Today, it's reported he cut back 7 oil leases, canceled them in Alaska. That is the direct responsibility.
No, JD, this is where I have to cut you off. See, this is where you get in discussions with me or with Brian, in which you try to point out things that you want to tie together and act like there's a direct impact as far as gas prices in America, and you're not somebody that is educated and know how the oil and gas industry works, right? It's the exact same thing as people coming out and talking about how, the Democrats all are shutting the pipelines down in America, and that's the reason why gas prices went shooting up. In a period of 2 or 3 months, gas prices went soaring through the roof because we shut down, because the Democrats, are trying to cut back on shutting pipelines down and fracking and all this stuff. It is not JD. It's just very frustrating talking to you when you want to talk about things when you do not know what you're talking about and act like there's some kind of direct connection when there is not. And by the way, JD, you just brought up, and you conveniently kind of threw this in. Oh yeah, well, Donald Trump, his final day of his presidency, gas prices were two something. So you have to take a deeper dive, JD. You have to take a deeper dive, all right, and ask the question, hey, JD, why were those prices $2 plus on Donald Trump's last day in office? And a big reason is that we were in the smack dab middle of a pandemic, and gas prices, yes, had bottomed out because nobody was driving anywhere, and it had it was directly an effect of the worldwide consumption of oil around the globe, which is why the prices were so low. It wasn't because of some, any kind of policy that Donald Trump and the Trump administration implemented. It was because of the situation we were in, which we were smack dab in the middle of the pandemic still, and there was a lot of factors surrounding that as well too. So I mean, come on, man, you gotta be stop being. It's bad faith conversation when you try to go down this road, man.
What was the price of gas before the pandemic?
That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head. Off the top of my head, I would say around what, $3.20 a gallon, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Nowhere near $5.78 a gallon.
Well, it's not $5 now, JD. Come on. I was at the pump yesterday here in Las Vegas.
A year and a half ago, I paid $5.77.
Yeah, well, you probably went to a gas station on the California border, right, or somewhere where
right here,
gas prices
right here.
Is here in Vegas
right
$5?
Here in Henderson.
Hey, Numchuck, were we paying $5 at most gas stations here in Vegas at any time for gas? I don't remember that. JD, we all live in the same city. JD, you and I, Numchuck, Brian Shapiro, we all live in the same city. So I don't know. I don't remember paying $5 plus a gallon for gas.
Don't debate me. Check it out.
I'm not going to debate you because I don't remember. I honestly don't remember, JD, paying more than $5 for gas.
I do. $5.77. It peaked at $5.77 in Las Vegas.
Okay, so that's an anecdotal situation that we face. I say we, JD, because you and I, and Justin, Chuck, and Brian Shapiro all live in the same city. So yes, it's just something we have. Hey, JD,
we're going nowhere.
Well, I mean, whatever. We're going somewhere, right? We're gonna be. Hey,
no,
the election's coming up. Hey, JD, you got a chance. You and your Republicans, you guys have a chance.
Hey, we're out of gas.
Nominate. We're out of gas. Hey, the JD, spirited conversation. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend, sir.
Hey, let me ask you one other thing.
What else you got?
Bernie Sanders was in on an interview 2 days ago.
Yes.
He stated that 85 million people in the United States do not have health care. How is that possible after Obamacare?
Because there were obstacles regarding Obamacare, and so some Americans. Well, I mean,
never mind.
You asked the question, so I'm giving you my answer.
That's all right.
Again,
go to somebody else.
Okay,
go to somebody else. Stick a fork in me. I'm done.
Okay. Hey. Way to fire it off. Hey, JD, have a good weekend, my friend. 702-221 7283 is the phone number. Let's go to Steve. Steve is on the phone lines here on Pushing the Limits. We appreciate your phone call, sir. How are you today?
All right. How are you?
I'm doing good, Steve. What's on your mind? What's your
Well,
views on some of these things we're bouncing around?
I didn't hear any policies one way or the other from you regarding what JD had to say.
I'm not a policy guy. I'm a radio talk show host. I don't have time to break down all my
policies
and by the way,
directly.
hey, Steve, I got to tell you, I might look after I went on this diatribe for the first half hour of this show. I'm further going down. I might have to run for office, Steve. I really might have to.
You might have to.
I might have to run
why.
because I need
I'll
to
tell
get
you
it out
why
there.
you should run.
Why?
You have a lot of similarities to this Joe Biden. Y'all both stutter immensely. You got a serious stuttering problem. I'm not even sure what you're doing on the radio.
Hey.
Because when somebody gets under your skin with a real question, you really get going with the stuttering.
Oh, boy. The stuttering is something that is one of my trademarks, sir. Come on now, Steve.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's one of my monikers out there. It's one of my trademarks.
Okay.
That's the
All
way.
right.
But, hey,
We're
Steve.
going to call you Big Biden. Instead of Big Guy, you'll be Big Biden. You'll be the heavy-set version of Biden.
Double B, baby. Yeah,
There you
hey,
go, double
it's
B.
true though. I'm a lefty.
There
I am
you
on
go.
the. I am somewhat. I am a
Double B's
Democrat
to
my
match
friend.
your double D's. You got going.
I know you secretly have you have a little fondness for me though, Steve, don't you?
I have a
you
crush
see me,
on you, yeah.
You see
I have
me
a
in this
man
bright
crush on
yellow
you.
shirt here.
So-
It's not really yellow.
so-
it's more like tangerine, right?
That's
You're
orange as I've
saying-
ever been.
Is
So
tangerine?
let me ask you a question.
Yes.
So you're saying that cutting pipelines, cutting leases, and forcing people to electric vehicles is not directly impacting fuel prices.
Pretty much, yes. I don't know. Look,
And you
again,
think
I'm
the
not a gas. See,
Inflation
this is the difference between
Reduction
me
Act
and what JD was
actually
trying to do.
helped inflation?
So this is the difference, Steve, between me and what JD was doing. I don't sit here and act like I'm some expert. I do reflect on with my opinions when it comes to what I think really is impacting things. And if there's like an overarching thing that Captain Obvious can see, right? The average Joe, the average Jane out there can see, right? Where, for example, in 2020, when there's a pandemic and nobody's driving their cars anywhere because everybody's locked down in their homes, that gas prices are probably going to go down, right, to a low level.
Well, I don't disagree with that.
Exactly.
It's supply and demand.
But I'm not.
I
Again,
get
I'm not
that.
going to sit back and act like some expert when it comes to whether or not pipelines have. I just have heard. Okay, so I'm speaking from secondhand, hearing from people who are actually experts. See, like for things like COVID and gas and oil industries, and even things like financial issues, I tend to want to lean towards people that are experts, right? I want to listen to them and actually kind of soak off of them. I want to I want to have be a sponge, Steve, to those kinds of people to figure it out. I don't act like I'm an expert and try to tell them.
Give me one person that you rely on or associate with to get this type of information, financial, so in your inner circle.
Well,
who would you take advice from other than the great one, Brian Shapiro? Who else?
There's a couple people. Look, there's when it comes to
you're stuttering
when it comes
again.
to
Come on,
I know
let's go.
when it comes to the gaming industry, I have a very good friend of mine in the gaming industry. He works for Golden Game. He's outstanding. The man knows all ins and outs when it comes to the gaming industry across the board. He is top notch. So when it comes to
what does that have to
when it
do
comes
with
to that, I
financing?
listen to AD. When it comes to business in Las Vegas, I absolutely, positively lean on my man Andrew Mann over at Sahara West Urgent and Primary Repair. That guy is wired in as all get out when it comes to all things the economy, especially from a Democrat's perspective. So there are people that I lean on.
So,
but that's
I'm just
boring.
gonna
That's not
ask you-
Steve. That's not.
Let me
necessarily
just
a
ask
big
you
time
one
topic.
thing. Do you feel, honestly, and give an honest opinion, sir, please,
Yes.
do you feel that the Inflation Reduction Act actually helped or hurt inflation in this country?
I think in the long term, and meaning, and when
No,
I mean
no,
by
no,
long
no,
term,
well-
I'm talking about long term in like the next couple of years. I think it's going to be a benefit. Absolutely, I think it's going to be a benefit.
All right, explain why you feel that
I don't
way.
have time.
So we have to wait until Biden's dead and in the grave to realize the results of the Inflation Reduction
Well,
Act.
look, I mean,
Is that
the
what you're
reality is
saying?
he's 80 years old, so he could be soon. I mean, I'm not trying to be the
so
Grim
what do we
Reaper. I'm
wait,
just saying,
10
like,
years? 5
no,
years?
no. Maybe a year or two. But
okay.
Hey, Steve, I got to bounce around. I got some phone calls, sir. You have a great weekend. Enjoy the game tonight.
Thanks.
Appreciate the phone call.
All right, I hope your Lions win.
It's
You're a
going
Detroit
to
guy.
happen,
I
my
hope your
friend.
Lions
It's going
win.
down. The hype has already started. I appreciate the phone call.
Right.
702.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. 221-7283 is the phone line. Mark joins us now here on Pushing Limits. Mark, what do you have going on this Thursday, sir?
Well, a number of things. You know, I'm one of those electric car owners, and I can tell you I don't miss paying for gas at all.
Absolutely.
In fact, we've saved probably several $1,000s over the course of the last 5-6 years by doing so. Oil is an international commodity. These conservatives banging on about Joe Biden raising the price of gas are ignoring the fact that the Saudis have cut production. So they're trying to raise the prices so that the conservatives can have some kind of talking point. That's first. Secondly, if you're going to talk about the economy being in some kind of tailspin like a conservative, they all have time to call into your show and spend all the time in the world with you, so they're not doing too bad. And when I go around this city, everywhere I go, traffic is jammed up. People are in the stores buying, they're in the restaurants having meals. It looks to me like if you drive around here and you're actually pulling your head out of conservative propaganda, the economy is roaring along.
Absolutely right. That was my point, wasn't it, Mark? Is that hey, look,
yeah,
I understand. Nobody wants to have to pay more for a product than they expect to pay, right? Or that they desire to pay. But the reality is what the reality is. And my entire point on this whole topic was that, I mean, are we really that, is it really something that is affecting people's day-to-day? As you just talked about, about this here, right?
Yeah.
People are still going about their business. People still have disposable income. People are still going out and taking leisure activities. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we just came out of the summertime, right? People were still making trips. People were still doing things with their families, and it wasn't some scenario like the Great Depression, right? Or even 2008, where people legitimately said, you know what, I can't even go on this vacation, or I can't do this, or I can't do that.
Right.
That's not what transpired in the summer of 2023, right?
May I add a couple of things on your behalf, too, is that the conservatives bang along about Keystone Pipeline. It wasn't even built. There was no oil being delivered from Canada to affect supply or demand. Shutting down leases that wouldn't actually produce anything for 10 years isn't going to affect the price of oil now. So there's that. And last I checked, you know, when this last guy or a couple guys was complaining about the price of eggs when they were $5, well, I can go over to Trader Joe's and buy them for $2 and change. So those prices have come down. Many commodity prices have come down. So they're complaining about the past. And first of all, last I heard, eggs went up in price because there was avian flu that killed off large numbers of flocks of chickens. I'm not sure, but I don't think Joe Biden actually caused avian flu.
Some solid points, Mark. We appreciate the phone call, and have a great Thursday, okay? And no question. Look, we get it, Mark. Everybody has their anecdotal situations. You know, I mean, everyone can talk about how, it fired me up because I had to pay this much for this grocery item, and I had to pay this much when I went to the pump. And I get it. Okay, we get it. It's more expensive. Okay, we understand that. All right. What I am trying to hammer home here is that it's not all because of Joe Biden. It's not because of the Biden administration. And if you want to just blast away at the Democrats and at the lefties, bring up some policy. Actually come with something strong that you can make your point, and that you can at least have some credibility where you can say, oh, yeah, well, I point to this as to why this is happening. So this is why I have a beef with the Democrats. This is why I have a beef with Joe Biden, because of this policy or this policy or this policy. I mean, that's basically what I'm trying to get at here in this, hour segment here. Luis joins us here on the phone lines real quick before we go to break at the top of the hour. Luis, we're up against it clockwise, but what do you have for us, sir?
Well, I just want to know what is good about the last couple of years, because I don't think going to war or funding a war is good. I don't think not visiting fire victims, and when you do visit them, you fall asleep at the event.
He didn't fall asleep. That's been debunked. That was not true. He did not fall asleep at the event. So wait a minute, time out. You're asking me what? No, wait, time out, Luis. You're asking me what's good about the last 2 years, but then you start talking about things that aren't good. You know what I mean? Or things that you think aren't good.
That's what I'm asking. What is good? Because I personally don't.
I can tell you if you want me to answer the question, I can answer it. You don't have to tell me what you think's not good.
Now you know what's going to happen.
Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? What's going to happen? No, I'm going to bring up a couple things that are good. Hey, you asked me the question. It's a radio show. I can respond to your question. So you asked me what's good about the last couple of years. The Inflation Reduction Act's a good thing for America. I think it is. The Biden administration implemented that. Also, no, Luis, let me finish. No, Luis, I talked for 2 seconds. Stop talking. All right? Pot him down or just get rid of him. Luis, you asked me a question. I'm going to answer it. Okay? The Inflation Reduction Act, I think, is a good thing for America. I think the way that Joe Biden and the Biden administration have handled COVID-19 coming out of the pandemic, I think they did an absolutely admirable job, as well as anybody could do, regardless of Republican or Democrat, coming out of the pandemic, okay? Yes. Have there been challenges with the economy? Yes. Is Joe Biden old? Yes. But stop coming on the airwaves and spouting off nonsense about how he's falling asleep at events for the fire victims in Maui. All right. And by the way, that's not just that scenario in which there has been mistruths and BS put out there about Joe Biden regarding certain events that have taken place in which he's talked about falling asleep or stumbling around or whatever. Yes, he's 80 years old. We get it. All right. But you asked me a question. I answered it. You asked the question, guy. All right, Luis. And then you proceed to go on a tangent. And I told you the segment is going to be short. It's going to be like a 3-minute conversation. And he starts talking about all the things that he thinks are bad and that are bad that have gone on in the last 3 years. So a lot of fun here. Hour number 1, pushing the limits on a Thursday. Chris Winn in for Brian Shapiro. Lauren's on the phone lines as well, too. Let's touch the phone line, 702-221-7283. We got time for a couple more minutes, Lauren. Lauren, what do you have for us?
Well, I did some checking as far as pre-pandemic gas prices were. The average price was $2.33 a gallon.
Yeah,
prior to the pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay. Now on the, I do believe, and I ran the weatherization program in Clark County for about 10 years, which is making homes more energy efficient. Anything dealing with making the home more energy efficient, excluding solar.
Okay.
Okay. I understand that the prices have increased. Our prices are up about 40% from one year to the next. I checked into what the reason was.
Is it because of the private sector? Is it something that in the energy private sector that would influence that? Look, Lauren, I'm not someone, again, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm some expert when it comes to oil and gas, when it comes to energy, things like this. I'm not. Okay, I'm a radio talk show host sometime, and I work in the service industry most of the time. That's my expertise to the extent of it. So you talked about it, Lauren. I think, did we lose him? I think we lost him because he's gone. But no, we appreciate the phone call, Lauren. Look, I get it. I mean, there's people that are going to chime in. And again, Lauren, I think, was starting to do it. If you have some type of expertise or knowledge, or you have some policy that has been put forth either by the Trump administration back in 2016 or by the Biden administration from 2020 on, then come with it and use that as your example or use that to back up your point. But if you're just going to come on, you're going to spout off nonsense, you're just going to bitch and moan and say, oh, gas prices are this high now, and so it's got to be Joe Biden's fault. It's super weak. Okay, and it really doesn't serve any purpose. It is Pushing the Limits coming away live on a Thursday. Coming up next, he is a NBA veteran. We're going to talk all things basketball and more with Paul McKeskey, veteran with the Pistons, the Bucks, the Warriors, and beyond, and distinguished coaching career as well, too. He's going to join us next on Pushing the Limits as we continue. Brian Shapiro out today and tomorrow. I'm Chris Winn, your fill-in host. The phone lines are 702-221-7283. Much more on the other side of the break as we continue on KSHB AM 1400, 107.1 FM.
Here's to your health, Monday morning at 7 on KSHP, North Las Vegas, AM and FM, 829-6HP, North Las Vegas, and KSHP.com.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York-style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Everybody, Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits here. I want to tell you guys about my good friends at the Postal Annex. They have a notary signing agent on-site daily, no appointment needed, and they offer a full scale of printing services from shipping labels to documents, business cards, banners, photos, and business signage. They're your passport service headquarters. They offer passport photos, and they can renew your adult passports. If you're traveling in a hurry, they can get those passports to you within 7 days or less. Mailbox rentals with a physical street address, and they also receive your packages from Amazon, UPS, FedEx, USPS, and more. Here's the best part. If you're a Pushing the Limits listener, they have an introductory rate of only $39 for a 3-month service. You can't beat it. Give them a call, 702-873-8005. Check them out at 6130 West Flamingo Road. It's the Postal Annex. Tell them I sent you.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event. It requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Winn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well. So I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Winn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Sapphire Pool and Day Club, the world's only topless gentlemen's day club, introduces its 2023 pool season lineup with a bevy of beauties and social media celebrities throughout the summer who will all host alongside hundreds of Sapphire's topless poolside entertainers. Enjoy brunch in the sun with items like frittata-style omelets, stripping chicken, and French kiss toast before washing it down with signature summertime cocktails. 10 lines, beware. Go Bear! Ladies are welcome to go topless within the day club for the ultimate party. Guests can purchase portable daybed packages, cabana packages, lounge chairs, and more. The best part though? Pushing the Limits will be broadcasting shows every other Friday throughout the pool season with a ton of surprise celebrity guests. Wow! Reserve your spot now. For more info, visit sapphirepoolLV.com or call 702-869-0003. That's 702-869-0003. See you at Sapphire.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams and treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-0554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
Shopping is always easy with the Radio Shopping Show. Whether it's shopping during any one of our live shows right here on AM 1400 or listening live on the KSHP app, you can always call in at 702-221-7283 to pick up great deals with your favorite host. Or shop 24/7 at kshp.com. Go to kshp.com and select Shopper's Guide to browse hundreds of businesses featured on the show. Place your order online and we'll have it shipped right to your front door. With so many possibilities, it's hard not to shop.
The Klondike Casino is a friendly local spot that features their signature restaurant, the Klondike Grill, serving up fresh food fast. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner just off the 95 freeway on Sunset Road in Henderson. You will find the Klondike Casino, featuring all your favorite games from the Strip in the comfort of a neighborhood casino. You can place a bet at their full-service sportsbook, or start your day with a breakfast plate that comes with your choice of potato and toast. Or check us out for lunch or dinner and try one of our many sandwiches, like the popular beer-battered fish sandwich or the Philly cheesesteak. Check out the full menu at KlondikeSunset.com.
Is your dog suffering from a sensitive stomach? Hi, it's Kelly the Cookie Lady from Mooch's Munchies. Our dogs had super sensitive tummies, and I needed to find a low-fat treat that wouldn't give them gas or other issues. Most of the treats on the market were loaded with fillers, chemicals, and chicken fat. Many of them weren't even food. Well, I knew I could do better, so I developed Mooch's Munchies, and I'm happy to be able to share them with you. Stop by our store or our website, moochesmunchies.com, and find out why we say that Mooch's Munchies are totally pawsome.
Welcome to Hash House A Go-Go, where we've been serving farm food and crafted cocktails for over 2 decades. Visit us for the full Hash House experience at any of our 5 Las Vegas locations. Hash House A Go-Go is where old school meets new and gets twisted. We bring people together over good food and fun. Come in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and come hungry because our portions are huge. Visit us online to see our entire menu at hashhouseagogo.com. Hash House A Go-Go. It's a Midwest thing, and there's nothing else like it.
Push the Limits coming away live on a Thursday. KSHP AM 1400, 107.1 FM. Brian Shapiro off today. You can also watch us live on our YouTube page. It's PTL Vegas. You get to see all our pretty faces there, except for Numchuck because he conveniently does not have a camera on him, which is kind of strange. And it is. I think we need to make some changes, right?
Yeah,
Paul, when it comes to
It's
this?
purposely.
Yeah.
That voice you're hearing and those you are seeing on YouTube, that is the voice of our esteemed NBA veteran, Paul McKeskey. Tremendous NBA career with my Detroit Pistons, with the Milwaukee Bucks prominently, more than the Milwaukee Bucks, but also with the Golden State Warriors as well, too. Also a great coaching career. Paul McKeskey joining us here live in studio. Paul!
What's up, Chris?
It's great to have you on.
Great to see you over there,
Chop it up with you on the airways, my friend.
Yeah, used to see Brian, which is interesting, but it's good to see you. You're smiley.
And you know why I kind of have a smile on my face today? It's because
Big game.
the NFL
Big
season
game.
is kicking off tonight, folks. I'm fired up. The Honolulu Blue and Silver, my friend, is going into Arrowhead. I think they call it. I think it's called something else, like Doha Stadium now or something.
Oh, no, it's
in
Arrowhead.
Kansas City.
Always Arrowhead.
The defending Super Bowl champions hosting my Detroit Lions to open up the NFL season, Mo. So good times. You know, when the football season opens up, that means the fall's rolling around. Yeah. And for you, Big Mo, that means hoops as well too on the horizon.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a Packer fan through and through, but I'm also a Chiefs fan because I went to University of Kansas and we lived in Kansas City for a couple of years. Our sons went to school there for a little bit, so seeing the Chiefs, win it last year, and the owner's wife or had passed away after that. That was the last game she saw. And I'm telling you what, I've been to Arrowhead Stadium, and it's a different animal. I've been to a lot of different football venues, but Arrowhead Stadium, when they start doing the tailgating and all that red in that stadium, it's something else. I'm a little concerned though, because I think the Lions had a good ending last year and actually took my Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs, but they're on a roll, and I think their momentum is getting there, and Kelsey's out.
Well, you know what the problem is, though, Mo? Too much hype for my Detroit Lions here coming into the season. It's the Lions and the New York Jets. Everybody's talking about, right, glowing terms. Obviously, the Jets because Aaron Rodgers, or you're from your Green Bay Packers, now the quarterback in New York with the Jets. So the expectations, man, and for a kid like me, growing up in Michigan, a Detroit Pistons fan, Lions, Tigers, and Red Wings fan, this Lions team, they do have a unique following as far as the fan base there. That is, it's almost like we just love to soak in misery. Paul McKeskey, do.
It's like the football version of the Cubs, right?
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, and it's brutal.
I think I saw a stat that they've only won one playoff game in 63 years or something.
Let me tell you something, folks. Paul McKeskey was playing, I believe you were playing for the Golden State Warriors the last time.
91?
In 1991 was the year we beat the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs at the Pontiac Silverdome.
Oh my
you
gosh.
were suiting up in Warriors gear, my friend,
gosh.
in the NBA. So that tells you right there, right, Mo?
I'll tell
come
you
on
what,
now.
Chris. I mean, I played for the Pistons for 2 years, and first year I got there, I had one of my best years. We weren't very good, and then we drafted Isaiah Thomas, and things turned around, and then they traded me for Bill Laimbeer and traded me off to Cleveland. But we played in the Silverdome, and I remember when Magic Johnson and the Lakers came to when we played Isaiah's rookie year. I think it was I don't know if it's still an NBA. It's like 50,000 fans in the Silverdome to watch that game.
Absolutely.
And
The Pistons, right? Excuse me, back then. They in playoff series, right? And they're playing teams like the Bucks or the Boston, especially the Boston Celtics, right? Those matchups, they were getting 45, 50,000 fans in that arena.
I don't know why you would, because those people way up, up in the nosebleeds were really nosebleeds. And here's the other thing: when, like the day of a game, we would have shoot around in the Silverdome. And back then, they put the court down in like 1/2 or 1/4 of the stadium.
Right.
And then they dropped those big black curtains, all around. And I remember shoot around after shoot around, I went and looked on the other side of the curtain, and they still had most of the turf down for the Lions. And I'm like, it's like the old, whatever, how old this carpet is in here. That's what it was like. It was like playing on thin carpet laid over cement. And I was like, how can these guys play on this? And and actually, here's a history for you. I went to the Silverdome and watched on the big screen Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard for one of their first fights.
That is
on the
outstanding.
Big screen. That was in the Silverdome.
And as a Michigan guy, right here in Vegas, getting a chance to meet a lot of athletes, especially retired athletes that come out to Vegas, right? That was a big thrill for me, getting a chance to meet Tommy Hearns here in Vegas. I met him at the Westgate. At the Benihana's at the Westgate, Mo.
Well, you met your idol too, Isaiah Thomas.
And that
recently,
was
right?
super cool, by the way, Mo. And we talked about you, by the way, too. And
that's scary.
he had glowing terms to talk about Big Mo. When it came to that was a big thrill for me too. Obviously, as a young, I mean, I'm a little bit younger than you, not much younger, but
you're a lot younger.
But I'm in my 5th decade. So, but I was a teenager, obviously, back when those Pistons teams were even the team that you were on. I was a teenager. And then, of course, the Pistons got much better in the later.
Yeah,
80s.
after they traded me. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up.
I didn't say that. Come on
you're
now.
implying. You're implying.
Yeah, but come on, I was a huge fan of Big Mo. I put that jersey on. I was getting nostalgic, Paul McKeskey, when I put the 44 jersey on from
I think it has tears on it still.
From 1981. Come on, that was great.
Yeah.
But but you're talking about the Pontiac Silverdome. Look, I don't know what the politics was in Detroit, and I don't know what the relationship was between the Red Wings brass and the Pistons brass, but I didn't understand. And look, even in around the 1984 and 85 season, the Pistons played the New York Knicks in the playoffs, that game that Bernard King went off, right?
Yeah.
And Isaiah,
They played it.
Bernard King and Isaiah went head to head.
Yeah.
They played at Cobo Hall,
yeah.
in that game. So I don't know why the Pistons, even when you were playing, Joe Louis Arena was built too, by the way, and I believe in 1979, Joe Louis Arena opened. So they could have played. The Pistons could have played at the Joe or at Cobo Hall instead of playing at the Silverdome.
In
I don't really
Pontiac.
know. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I thought there must have been some politics going on with the ownership with Bill Davidson.
Or a financial, but
Yeah.
I remember going there and thinking, we're the Detroit Pistons, but we're playing in Pontiac.
Exactly, yeah.
Because my dad grew up in Hamtramck in Detroit.
Exactly.
You know, in the Polish section there. And, you know, so we had relatives in there and stuff, but that was kind of weird that why are we playing? And Pontiac is like 40 minutes outside of town. It's not like right around the corner.
But it is kind of like the Cleveland situation too, right? With the Cavaliers, because Richfield Coliseum, which was the old home of the Cavaliers, that's not in Cleveland either, right?
No,
That's
it's in
outside
farmland. It's
Yes.
in farmland.
It's like it's out there. It's out there in the boonies, right?
And you know, Linda and I think we lived in Bath or somewhere out there.
yeah.
It's you know, it's way out there in the middle of nowhere because that's where we played and we practiced and you know, so God, you're bringing back memories of I played in some crappy places. I mean, Richfield Coliseum had one of the first practice courts in the arena. You know, like when we were in Detroit, we practiced. You know, we played in the Silverdome, but we practiced at Detroit Mercy or somewhere out there. So, but then now every NBA team has their own practice facility, really close by or in there. And it was the first one that was in the arena. It was on like the 4th floor. You took an elevator up to it. And, you know, it had one measly court up there and it was always dusty. And I think I have a lawsuit because every time we went up there in the morning to practice, there's probably 1,000 dead flies on the court that they literally swept off the court.
Yes.
And when you look around, the padding that's around on the walls is like asbestos. It's like straight out asbestos, and that's why the flies are dying. So
just utter death traps everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it's not what it is now today, right, Mo? When you talk about the NBA, I mean, right now you're talking about state of the art facilities, essentially separate facilities from the arenas that NBA teams have access to, and even G League teams have access to almost now.
Oh yeah,
on a daily basis.
WNBA teams, the Aces have one of the best facilities
absolutely.
ever.
Yes,
they
no
have
question.
an NBA level facility, you know, that they built right here out by the Raiders practice facility, and you know, we flew commercial, and you know, only the older veteran guys got first class. Everybody else was in coach, and you know, trying to fit in those seats and taking early flights, and you know, it's now there's private jets, and you're at the Four Seasons, and everybody gets their own suite, and yeah, it's a totally different ball game.
Private jets where lazy boys can turn into like mini beds, right? Where you can sprawl it out.
And I was coach with the Dallas Mavericks for 5 years, and Mark Cuban's did an unbelievable job, and his upgrades and American Airlines Arena, and you know, he was one of the Knicks, I believe, and the Portland Trailblazers had their own jets, but everybody else didn't. Some chartered, but I remember Mark Cuban getting on that Dallas Maverick jet that he bought on internet, and then redid the whole gutted the inside, and I was like, this is just amazing. I mean, you know, the seats and the screens and the food and you know, the room. It's a totally different way to travel.
An absolutely different scene than it was back in the 1980s and before, right, Mo? When it comes to the NBA and accommodations and travel and across the board.
So here, picture this, okay?
Yes.
So you know,
I'm picturing you trying to sit in in your early days when you weren't a veteron, right? And picture you trying to sit in an economy seat on an airplane.
When I was a
rolling across country.
When I was a rookie, I made a deal with Calvin Murphy, who was a veteran, 10-year veteran, but he was a smaller guy, and I made a deal with him that I would buy him meals, whatever city we got, if he would give up his first class seat for me.
That is great.
And he did, you know. But I would say, like, Chris, picture like, okay, there's an NBA team in Vegas, and there will be. And you're going to the airport to catch your flight to Cleveland or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're waiting at your gate, And here comes, the LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, and they're all walking through the airport, and they go sit down at the gate next to you because they're waiting for their flight. That's the way it was. That's what. So Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Dr. J, Isaiah Thomas, all walked through the airport, sat at a gate, read their newspaper back then, and waited while other business guys and everybody was. That's what it was like back then.
Newspapers, for all you young people out there, they're these paper things that had
Have words on them. Yeah.
They had words on them, and they had the details and the stories of the day that people would read on a daily basis, and you would pay a subscription fee
USA
every
Today.
week. Yes.
USA Today. That was the paper.
There's not even a paper. Paperboy's not even a profession anymore,
No,
right, Mo?
yeah,
It's
there's
not even a
no-
thing anymore.
yeah.
But back when I was a kid, right, and back when Mo was playing, and I was a teenager, all right, I keep on emphasis on this age thing. I was a big box score guy. So those you youngsters out there, all right, box scores were a big thing for us growing up in the 1980s, and even in the 1990s, moving on to the internet era. But yeah, Mo, some great stuff from your playing career and your coaching career as well, too. Mo, Paul Bukowski joining us here live in studio on Pushing the Limits, a long-time NBA career, great coaching career as well, too, in the NBA and beyond. Talking some hoops and some stories surrounding it. So, Mo, USA basketball in the midst of it right now, right? We have the FIBA World Cup championships going down. A little bit of surprise last week as Team USA loses to Lithuania, right? And that puts them in a position where it was getting a little dicey there. It seems like they've gotten back on track to get a big win earlier this week, and now they'll take on Germany tomorrow in the semifinals of the championships. But Team USA, look, when it comes to USA basketball, there's kind of an expectation, right? You expect greatness. You expect them to be the cream of the crop. They're going to be expected to be the gold standard for the most part, regardless of what even the results are, right? And there has been hiccups along the way at certain spots, whether it's Olympics.
Mostly in the World's Championships, too, by the way.
Exactly.
Not the Olympics, in the Worlds. They've come in 7th and 3rd and 4th, yeah.
Yeah, so it hasn't been all we win the gold medal, we win the championships, we, have a clear, it's across the board victories all over the place for USA basketball. But there's still, I think, Mo, there still is the allure. There still is that kind of view, at least, especially from us Americans here in the United States, which, we're going to focus on, obviously, because we're here, that we are still the best of the best. And that when we put our mind to it, right, Mo, we should still be the team to beat, and we should still have the expectation to go out there like we're going to win every single tournament or every single Olympics or every time there is basketball on the world stage. We should be the team that everybody looks to as the team to beat.
Well, I agree with that perception. However, that perception is not correct anymore. Not to the point where, when Team USA lost to Lithuania a few days ago, everyone was in a panic and what are we doing? And not me. I saw it coming a mile away because I've coached in the Olympics. I've coached in the World Games. I know Lithuania. I know who's on that team. I know how they play. They're very physical, very big, and they shoot threes and they can make jump shots. So I saw that coming a mile away. And when you play in these FIBA tournaments, the saying is when you go into this tournament, if you're going to lose early, because you can always recover from a loss in pool play. But once they're where they are now, once you lose, you're done. So number one, I saw that coming. Number two, the rest of the world is catching up to us. They're not there. USA still rules the world in basketball for the most part, but they're catching up. Back 10, 15 years ago, even 10 years ago, when you look at other teams, around the world, they have 1, 2, maybe 3 NBA players on them. Not anymore. Canada's in this thing. They have 10 NBA players on their team right now. Canada does.
Yeah.
France has 6. Lithuania had 4. Germany has 3. So they're catching up in that manner. And here's the other kicker that most people don't realize.
Yeah.
The last 5 years, the MVP of the NBA has been a European player.
How wild is that?
Giannis, the Joker, and Embiid.
That's
all
crazy.
7-footers and all non-Americans. So So it's catching up. Here's the thing that I was talking to people about. I've been there. I've been on the bench in the Olympics and the World Games. But here's the facts. I went to practice when they were here in Vegas. Steve Kerr's a good friend of mine, and we went to practice and watched the team. And hello, people out there, if you're listening, any basketball people out there, if you're listening, this was our B team. This was our JV team. There's only about 2 guys on this team that will be on the roster for the Olympics next year. So, and they're all young. Most of them are young except Portis. Most of them have very limited international play. So stop freaking out and start realizing that this is our B team, and that's for a reason. We've already qualified for the Olympics. There's no reason to send our best team. There's a reason to send our young players to get experience. So after the Olympics next year in Paris, they're going to be the next group, that's going to step up. So in the words of Aaron Rodgers, relax.
There it is.
Relax.
You knew the Green Bay Packer reference was coming in there, Paul McKeskey.
So, you need to take a step back, and I think they stepped up. Lithuania was a nightmare matchup for them, physical, shoot threes, and guess what? They lost 2 nights ago, so they're out. So, we play Germany coming up, which is a team we handled in a friendly game. And you got to be careful because a lot of coaches kind of foo-foo around and don't show you everything. And they have NBA players. But back to the roster, okay? Right. So you're looking at the World Cup team right now. Anthony Edwards is the best player. Right. Young player, 24, I think. Plays for Minnesota. He's averaging 17 and 4. Other than that, Mikal Bridges, Austin Reeves, Jalen Brunson, I like. Banchero, Halliburton, Jaren Jackson, Portis, Ingram, Josh Hart, Cam John. Hello, people.
A lot of these guys are second-tier guys on their own teams, much less an Olympic, or not an Olympic team, but a World Cup team like this.
So let's look at our Olympic team in Paris for next year, okay?
Yep.
LeBron James, if he wants to. He's getting older. Damon Lillard, Julius Randle, Tatum, Mitchell, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Booker, Holiday, KD. Hello?
We're not being disrespectful, Mo, to say that there's a severe jump in talent level when you talk about that team as opposed to the team we have out there.
And here's the other thing that, but one thing I think Team USA needs to realize and recognize is we do need to get bigger and stronger because Lithuania owned us. They posted us up. They abused us. They out-rebounded us by 20. And so that's why, in my opinion, I'm a Buck. I got my Buck hat on. Yeah. Brooks Lopez is a 7-footer, 270 pounds. That's won a championship that needs to be on that roster. Here's 2 keys that need to be on the Olympics. Number 1 is Joel Embiid. Now, Embiid is 7'1", 280, one of the best big men in the world and can handle those bigger players on the European teams. Now, he's from Cameroon, so he's got a
but doesn't he have dual citizenship?
He has dual citizenship, so he can play on our team, and Cameroon's not in the Olympics, so by the way. So I think adding him and Lopez and then Steph Curry.
Okay.
So Steph Curry, if people look back, Steph Curry has won an NBA championship, 4 of them, MVP, league finals MVP, and Steve Kerr is the coach of the USA team. Steve Kerr is Steph Curry's coach, and Steve Kerr has already told him, I know already because I know what he said.
Exactly, right.
Hey, guess what you don't have, Steph? You don't have a gold medal from the Olympics. So if you put Steph Curry
a little
and that
nudge,
together,
right? A little friendly nudge, Paul McKeskey there.
Yeah. And like it was pointed out, and that's what I talked about the B team. They're the youngest team in the tournament, and there's a reason for that. That they're getting their experience, and FIBA basketball is different in a few big ways, not different ways that people think. People think FIBA basketball is different because there's a goaltend rule. It's different. Once it hits the rim, it's live. You can hit it off or tip it in. That happens. I've been there once a game, maybe.
Yeah.
The other thing is people, you can play zone. Well, guess what? You can play zone in the NBA if you do it the right way and avoid the 2.9 illegal defense.
Exactly.
You can play zone. Here's the ways they don't understand. Number 1 is the length of the game is 40 minutes, not 48. 8 minutes less, which is huge. If the USA team, even the B team, had 8 more minutes against Lithuania a few days ago, they would have won that game. So the players need to adjust. You can't mess around for 5 minutes because you don't have enough time to recuperate. So it happens fast. FIBA games go fast. 10 points up, 10 points down. Teams were up 20 at halftime, they lose by 15. It's crazy. So that is one major thing. The other thing is referees. In NBA, like Luka fouled, got 2 technicals, was kicked out of the game last night or 2 nights ago by a referee. He was given 2 technicals. If that happens in the NBA and he's playing with the Mavericks, there's no way the referee gives him another technical because he knows it's going to be a second. He just lets it play.
100%.
FIBA refs,
Absolutely.
they don't care. They don't care who they are. And I'm telling you from personal experience, some of them get personal. Like, I'm going to show you, Mr. NBA, that you don't get these calls.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. You got to really adjust to
It's
that.
a little flex action going on, right? A little power play.
Oh, yeah. You think you're the boss, and which they are in the NBA, not in FIBA.
Yeah.
The other thing is the traveling call. The NBA, the USA basketball, this tournament has had a problem with turnovers. And when you think about turnovers in basketball, you think about throwing the ball away or something like dribbling off your foot. Most of their turnovers, almost half their turnovers, are traveling. And the traveling rule in FIBA is different. So in the NBA and all the players here in the United States that are training right now, when I catch the ball, I can go to the basket and I can I need to put the ball down before my pivot foot hits the ground. In FIBA, when I go to the basket and I move, I need to put the ball down before I lift up my pivot foot. Yeah. Huge difference. And they got called for it, I think 5 times in a game. So that's the other things that are different from FIBA. But I'm going to say it again, people out there, just because you're all concerned. And who knows? I think any of the 4 teams left, USA, Germany, Canada, and I'm not sure who Canada's playing. Any of those 4 teams can win this thing. I would hope if USA plays well, they will win it. But no matter what happens, relax. It's not our real A team.
We'll take a quick break, our final break, and we'll come back. I want to ask Mo and get back to this whole thing about the world catching up, because I have a couple of comments to make on this, and I want to kind of bounce this off you and do a little look back at Olympic basketball and World Championship basketball over the years as well too. It's Pushing the Limits, coming away live on a Thursday. Chris Winn, Paul McKeskey, live in studio along with Numchuck, making us sound good and look good. KSHP, AM 1400, 107.1 FM. Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits here. I want to tell you guys about my good friends at the Postal Annex. They have a notary signing agent on site daily, no appointment needed, and they offer a full scale of printing services from shipping labels to documents, business cards, banners, photos, and business signage. They're your passport service headquarters. They offer passport photos, and they can renew your adult passports. If you're traveling in a hurry, they can get those passports to you within 7 days or less. Mailbox rentals with a physical street address, and they also receive your packages from Amazon, UPS, FedEx, USPS, and more. Here's the best part. If you're a Pushing the Limits listener, they have an introductory rate of only $39 for a 3-month service. You can't beat it. Give them a call, 702-873-8005. Check them out at 6130 West Flamingo Road. It's the Postal Annex. Tell them I sent you.
Buying or selling a home is a huge life event. It requires guidance from an expert in the industry and community. My name is Blake Winn. You may recognize my name as my grandfather was the best governor the state of Nevada has ever had. Growing up in Las Vegas, I've come to know this community intricately. Now, I am raising a family here as well, so I understand all the issues impacting our home and quality of life. As the top realtor for the #1 real estate team at Keller Williams, you can have confidence in my experience, knowledge, and track record. When it comes to buying, selling, or investing in real estate, choose a name you can trust and someone who understands the community you call home. Call Blake Winn today and experience the difference of a trusted expert. 702-540-3311.
Sapphire Pool and Day Club, the world's only topless gentlemen's day club, introduces its 2023 pool season lineup with a bevy of beauties and social media celebrities throughout the summer who will all host alongside hundreds of Sapphire's topless poolside entertainers. Enjoy brunch in the sun with items like frittata-style omelets, stripping chicken, and French kiss toast before washing it down with signature summertime cocktails. 10 lines, beware. Go Bear! Ladies are welcome to go topless within the day club for the ultimate party. Guests can purchase portable daybed packages, cabana packages, lounge chairs, and more. The best part though? Pushing the Limits will be broadcasting shows every other Friday throughout the pool season with a ton of surprise celebrity guests. Wow! Reserve your spot now. For more info, visit sapphirepoolLV.com or call 702-869-0003. That's 702-869-0003. See you at Sapphire.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Shapiro from Pushing the Limits. I want to tell you guys about Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. They're conveniently located on the southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. At Sahara West Urgent Care, they'll take care of all your healthcare needs. They offer routine services such as physicals, STD testing, car accident treatment, and work injuries. You name it, they do it. They have on-site x-ray, EKG, ultrasound, and labs. They treat chronic conditions such as asthma, blood pressure, diabetes, and more. They also offer general wellness exams and treatments such as testosterone enhancement and cancer screening. They're located on Sahara, 6125 West Sahara Avenue. Their number is 702-248-554. And the best part, they accept most major insurances and affordable cash pay prices, office visits starting at just $95. And I'm also a client, so please give them a call, 702-248-0554.
Welcome to Hash House A Go-Go, where we've been serving farm food and crafted cocktails for over 2 decades. Visit us for the full Hash House experience at any of our 5 Las Vegas locations. Hash House A Go-Go is where old school meets new and gets twisted. We bring people together over good food and fun. Come in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and come hungry because our portions are huge. Visit us online to see our entire menu at hashhouseagogo.com. Hash House A Go-Go. It's a Midwest thing, and there's nothing else like it.
That is quality chirping right there as we roll through a Thursday edition of Push the Limits here live at KSHP AM 1400, 107.1 FM, and streaming the World Wide Web on the YouTube page, PTL Vegas. Check it out. Chris Winn, Paul McKeskey, Justin Chuck live in studio. Sahara West Urgent and Primary Care, folks. Whether it's wellness exams, STT screenings, COPT or asthma testing, blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, etc., you want to have your health as our priority. At 6125 West Sahara Avenue, Las Vegas, Nevada. No appointment needed. 702-248-0554. SaharaWestUrgentCare.com. Our guy, Andrew Mann, and company over there do a tremendous job. So everything, a number of conditions that they can take a look at for you. No insurance, $95 office visit there, except most insurances, whether it's your ultrasound, x-ray, EKG, labs, etc. Southwest corner of Sahara and Jones. That's Sahara West Urgent Care and Wellness. Joined by Paul McKeskey here live in studio. Longtime NBA career, tremendous coach as well, too. Been chopping it up on some hoops as USA Basketball in the midst of the FIBA World Cup. They will take on, Team USA will take on, I had the schedule in front of me. 2 games, Germany tomorrow.
Yep.
And
5:30.
Serbia and Canada in the other semifinal matchup Mo. And we're talking about kind of the evolution, right? That is USA basketball and the kind of the perception of
basketball,
and world basketball and the Americans' perception of the Americans year in and year out. And you talked about it. You said, look, the world is catching up. And you take a look at the progression, right? 72 team was a joke. We got robbed. Okay, that game, Doug Collins game against Russia.
Man,
Give me a break.
I watched
Completely
that. Ooh,
ridiculous.
Kill me.
We got screwed. All right, but moving up into the 80s, obviously you had prominent players, and it was a college situation for the United States, right? You had the top college players essentially playing in the Olympics and in the World Championships. And we had quality teams, and we were winning. We were even winning then, even when you had college players playing, right? Of course, the 1992 Dream Team is a team that kind of was a coming of age for USA basketball, and that it was all NBA players. That was a team that's probably never going to be matched as far as Hall of Famers, generational talents on that team, from Magic to Michael Jordan, Bird, and beyond. And then, of course, you get into the 90s, and that's where you start to. I think that's where you started to see the real catching up beginning, right? Where you, yes, in the 80s, you had the likes of the Sharunas Marciulionis's, the, Arvydas Sabonis's, and into the 90s, Drazen Petrovic's,
Divacs.
Vlade Divac.
Yeah.
The Australians started to be prominent as well, too. I mean, Andrew Gay's never played in the NBA, but was a guy that was prominent, and it still is prominent when it comes to the Aussies on the court as well, too. So you started to see more of a progression. You started to see the world having guys being able to play at the NBA level, right, and getting recognition there. And now you move into the 2000s and up to the present. Mo, and I talked about this with you during the break, this is not a situation anymore where Team USA is going to have the best player on the court in these matchups. It's not a situation like it used to be, right, Mo, where you could have 5, 6, 7 players. We're the 7 best players in the arena when Team USA was suiting up. Now you have a situation here in these FIBA World Cup championships where they play a team like a Canada. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's going to be the best player on the court. No disrespect to Anthony Edwards, right? But it just is a fact. And there's other players around around the world, Mo, that are going to be regarded in that way.
Luka. He's out of it now.
Mm-hmm.
The Joker, who will be playing in the Olympics next year.
Yes.
They're all those guys. Giannis is going to play for Greece.
Mm-hmm.
They're all going to be just as good as the best player on the USA team, and that was never the case before.
Mm-hmm. And so you look at the matchups that are still there, right, between the 4 teams that still standing. Even in these championships, and when Mo, you read off the names of guys who are playing for us, it's not going to be some cakewalk for Team USA to win the FIBA World Cup, because there are other teams that have NBA prominent guys that are going to be a factor in these tilts coming up.
Canada, like I said, has I think 9 or 10 NBA players that and no offense to the USA team, they're all younger, they're all coming in their own, and you have guys that are going to be superstars someday. But right now they're not, and all these players that are on the other teams, Dennis Schroeder or guys on the Canadian team, they've played against these guys, and they're just as good as these guys. So I think. It's going to be a tough game against Germany. If USA plays up to par in a good game, they'll win it. If they struggle, it's going to be tough. Then the next round, I expect they'll play probably Canada, and they need a very good game to beat Canada, I think.
There's just not that wow factor there used to be, right, Mo? There just isn't that element in which, especially with like a team like the 92 Dream Team, right, where you got teams showing up that are playing Team USA, and they're looking to get pictures after the game. They're looking for autographs. It's like a lifetime moment for them.
There's no Charles,
there's
Barkley dunking on someone and punching them and then get a goal player, poking them in the chest and knocking them over.
Exactly.
Those days are over.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a whole different scene. So, but look, we're Americans. We're rooting for Team USA. We hope that they hold serve and are able to bring home the championships there.
I mean, it's
in the FIBA World Cup.
And I've been around the world. I've coached in the NBA. I've coached internationally. I've coached, and FIBA basketball is a little different, but it's very, very entertaining and very, very good basketball. So, any basketball fans out there that have not watched, and I know, it's early in the morning. I'm not getting up at 5:20 in the morning to watch USA Germany. However, I am going to tape it and watch it when I get up at 9 o'clock. So if the basketball fans out there listening want to see some interesting basketball, you need to tape these things and watch them. It's different than the NBA. It's kind of a blend between college and NBA basketball. Yeah. It's kind of that blend. And actually, to tell you the truth, when I was with Team Great Britain, Chris Finch, who is now the head coach of Minnesota Timberwolves, was the head coach. Nick Nurse, who is now the head coach of Philly, was an assistant with myself, coaching in the Worlds and then coaching in the Olympics in 2012 in London. And I that year in the Olympics, I was scouting for our team also. So I would go to the arena at 9 a.m. and get out of the arena at 11 p.m. and see 10 games a day. And I fell in love with European / FIBA basketball. More movement, more passing, more cutting. The three-pointer is there. It's shorter line, and they knock those things down. And what really people will be interested in when you watch it is most teams at this level don't have 2, 3 three-point shooters on the floor. They have 5. Their centers can make threes, so you can't slough off anybody. So it's an exciting brand, and I would really encourage basketball fans in general. I don't care if you're a college basketball fan, an NBA basketball fan. If you're a fan, tape these games and watch them. Yeah. It's really good basketball.
Paul McKeskey, Chris Winn in for Brian Shapiro on Pushing the Limits on a Thursday as we're storming down the stretch here. I'm getting pumped up because kickoff is coming, folks, for my Detroit Lions and Kansas City Chiefs.
Where are you watching the game at? Where are you watching the game?
I'm actually supposed to work, but I'm trying to weasel on out of that.
You ain't
Mo.
working.
And I think I'm gonna make some magic happen
you got
here.
a cough coming on.
Because I got. Yeah, there might be some instant
might be
sickness coming on.
Brian Shapiro kind of cough coming on. Yeah. Whoa, did I say that?
You did say that, and you happen to be spot on, my friend. So I transition.
Get well soon, Brian.
I transition, Mo. Talking a lot of hoops here. But before you came on, I was kind of going on my diatribe, talking a little politics, and, the landscape, Paul McKeskey, that is the U.S. right now, as we get set for yet another election in 2024. All right? Obviously, I went on I had my feelings. Everybody knows I'm a Democrat. I'm on the left, so I have no qualms when it comes to being critical of the former president of the United States or Republicans as a whole. So that's not any shocker, right, Mo? But I just want to get your general outlook. Look, you're an American citizen. You're someone who's engaged. I kind of wanted to get your take, right? And you had something you wanted to bounce off me when it comes to what is the landscape of America today, Mo, especially as we get set for yet another election cycle coming up in just a matter of a few months.
Yeah, well, here, like Chris, I listen and I always come in here on Thursdays and Brian's on it. He's having his discussions.
He goes
too,
on a tear, right?
Yeah.
He's
So
hammering somebody away.
I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican.
Right.
I'm an independent. Quite frankly, and my wife Linda is sitting here listening, and she knows, she said, if you're so upset, then you need to get your butt out and vote. So I did.
Yeah.
But I am an American, and I grew up with a lower middle class family, really proud of working hard and making a living, but also really proud of what America stood for. And that has to do with politicians and how they act. So, like you said in the other segment, I'm not a programs guy or a
policy wonk.
policy guy.
Right.
I know they affect some stuff, but not as much as people think they do, like the gas price. I mean, that's ridiculous. But, so I'm not that guy, but I am a prideful American. And I have friends all over the world. And, so I want America, USA, to be represented. So when people in Brazil or people in South Korea or wherever, they see it, they go, wow, that's the country. We've always been the country where everyone wants to go,
Right.
and everybody's really proud of. So, I was just thinking the other day, it's just mind-boggling how people have gone down this rabbit hole of accepting stuff that's ridiculous. I mean, now don't get me wrong. There's been politicians that, have done wrongful things and been caught. Some have been caught. Some haven't been caught. Some have been done worse than others. I'm sure it's, my
Democrats and Republicans, by the way.
Absolutely. My
Yes.
dad used to call it a racket. Yeah, it's a racket out there. But that's one thing.
Mhm.
But like if Chris Winn is the head of a chair. He's the chairman of a committee I'm going to propose a presidential candidate to you, and you're the head, and you guys are going to take the vote on this candidate.
Yeah.
And I have a guy really in mind that I love. I love this dude, and I propose him to you, and he's very charismatic, and people follow him, and he says what he means, and all this stuff. But I gotta tell you, he has been indicted 4 times, and there's a mugshot out of him, and he has probably 50 lawsuits against him, and he's actually paid off a hooker, a stripper, he's a really good businessman, even though he won't disclose his taxes to anybody. I don't know why that is, but I know he's a billionaire. He's had many companies, Chris, many companies, and a lot of them have done really well. A TV show, but he has bankrupted a casino, which is almost impossible to do, an airline, a university, which he's in lawsuits with. About half of his companies have gone down the drain and gone bankrupt. But yeah, and he says crazy stuff, and then he takes it back, and sometimes he doesn't tell the truth, but for the most part, people like him. That's my guy. So what do you guys take the vote in the room, and you let me know if my guy, my candidate, is going to pass the mustard to be the next president of the United States.
Mo, I have made this point multiple times on many different levels and on this show with Brian Shapiro. The idea, and look, set aside, look, I get I'm a Democrat, and I know Republicans right now, I can see you coming a mile away. They're all saying, Chris, you think Joe Biden's the greatest thing since sliced bread? Absolutely not. We're not talking about Joe Biden right now. Joe Biden's not the greatest president in the world. He's not the worst president in the world, but he's not great. I don't even think he's good. I think he's okay. But turning to the person who's actually running for the Republican side of things, that'd be Donald J. Trump, right? Former president, right? The idea, and this is kind of to your point, the idea that's the guy you want to put out there. That's it. Of all the people in around the country that are distinguished when it comes to business, when it comes to politics, when it comes to any type of profession whatsoever, right? Even entertainment or sports, athletes. There's been prominent athletes, Bill Bradley, others that have gone into politics and been solid politicians, right? The idea that Donald J. Trump is that guy. That's the only guy Republicans are looking to. And there is this feel, Paul McKeskey, there's this feel, and it's a reality right now that the Republicans, especially the MAGA Republicans, the definite Trumper Republicans, right? The hardcore Trump ones, there's nobody else but him. He's their guy. As you point, he's that guy. He is the tip of the spear, sir. He is the cream of the crop. He is the guy that's going to lead us.
If you went back, let's say 10 years or whatever, and proposed what I just proposed, I would be laughed out of the room, right? I would be like,
100%.
That's the opposite. So listen, all this stuff and all that. I'm about, when he's making a living, all that stuff. Okay. But we need to be respectful. I mean, we need to be respectful as a country. We need to be respectful for each other in the country. We don't want to be a bully and call names. We used to have those people on the, on the playgrounds, and usually they got punched in the face and stopped doing it. But, we don't want that as the leader of our country. And listen, like I said before, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat, but I'm a prideful American. And quite frankly, do I think it might be better if right now someone could push a button and say, okay, Biden and Trump are out. Pick somebody else. I'd be good with that.
I'd be good with that too. I probably would be good. I look at a Democrat, and I'd be good with that too.
But if you're going to say either one, I'm going to go for the 3-year-older guy, not 20 years older, 3 years older, that is least respectful of what he says.
Yeah. A big thing is having a concrete foundation, Paul McKeskey, right? In foundation, in logic, reasoning, and facts. To me, facts. There's not 4 sets of facts or 2 sets of facts. There's 1 set of facts, and I think that's something that we need to base everything on when we talk about this.
Well, when you come up with a saying that, hey, I'm not lying. It's a different. What do they call it? A fact, not different truth, or something like that.
Alternative facts is the phrase that we use. Alternative facts.
It's not a lie. It's a non-truth. Wait, what?
He's Paul McKeskey, longtime NBA veteran and coach. Paul, we really appreciate you spending some time on a Thursday.
Absolutely,
it's been great
man.
chopping it up with you. Never enough time, right? Or the clock is too short.
We gotta have a little side bet for the game tonight. We gotta have like a dinner or lunch or something.
We might have to have something going on.
Yeah.
Thanks to Justin Chuck for making us sound good. Thanks to you out there, the listeners and watchers here, pushing the limits every day, noon to 2 Pacific time here on KSHP and 1400. 107.1 FM. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, everybody. Have a great day. Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado